Yeah, that's right. That is the goal this morning. And students are just starting to arrive here this morning at Everett High School. And the school district is really saying that their priority in all of this is just making sure that other students and staff are safe, but also making sure that they are in compliance with state law. As of November 1st, 345 Everett students still need one or more of the required vaccines for them to be in school. Unless students have a valid exemption under the state immunization law, they will be sent home. Since August, the school district has been reaching out to parents about this, and on Friday, families also received a warning phone call. In a statement, a school district spokesperson said staff do not anticipate they will need to exclude 345 students, since school district nurses have been making sure to reach out to families and make sure that they are aware of the new state law. Now, students in Edmonds who are not up to date on vaccinations or do not have the proper documentation were actually barred from classes starting on Friday. As of October 30th, over 200 students are not up to date on vaccines in Edmonds. I'm live here in Everett, Kira Elfallen, King 5 News.